Cheers, legends. Sammy from Short and Stout Beer Reviews. Bit of a later in the night review tonight, but yeah, I've just sort of been chilling throughout the day, just hanging with the dogs, getting some sleep after that huge stream yesterday. So I'm going to do a Hawker's birthday stream. So they've just turned 10 years old. Um, they're based in Melbourne. They're probably one of the sort of earlier craft breweries in Melbourne. They sort of come in at the right time when the industry started to really take off. They're based in Reservoir, which is up in the northern suburbs. And Marsden, I think his name is, he's the owner. He's originally from Lebanon. Really good dude. He quite often does like speeches at functions and like little seminar things and even like sort of group tastings and yeah, sort of gives back to the community quite a bit. Yeah, they've had a heap of different staff over the years, but yeah, they're still going really strong. So, yeah, 4 beers as part of their birthday celebrations. This apparently was their original XBA, so one of the first beers they brewed, and then yeah, they've sort of rebrewed it for this birthday. Um, so being an XBA, it's sort of like an American pale ale. Um, Yeah, 4.6%. I may as well name all 4 beers first before I get into them. Cheers, Adam. Good to see you, brother. The second beer, they're known for their core range West Coast IPA. It's very like solid beer. For people that like a West Coast, it's yeah very reliable. It's a good go-to at a good price point. So what they've done for their birthday, they've done a half West Coast. So it's sort of like dialed the recipe down slightly to make it a bit more approachable for probably like newer palates. Be interesting to see how it goes. Obviously, I'd prefer the full version, but yeah, it'll just be sort of a good little experiment. So that's the second beer, and that's at 5%. I'm not sure what the normal one is. It's probably around like high sixes or so. And then the third beer of the birthdays is the hazy, and that's a collaboration with a local record label. I don't know much about them, but apparently they're based in the same area as Hawkers are, and they do a lot of sort of skate and music sort of collaborations. And yeah, obviously it's probably based right near the brewery, so they're probably like mates and do a lot of stuff together. So yeah, that's like the side of the can there. They're called Desert Highway. And yeah, so that's a hazy at 6.5%. It actually reminds me of the rugby league team Melbourne Storm because it's got the same colours and the shirt that he's wearing looks like a rugby top. So yeah, looking forward to that one because Hawkers hazies can be sort of hit or miss, whereas they're more bitter, like hop forward Westy styles are always real solid. So it'd be interesting to see how this one goes. Plus, it's all Aussie hops. It's got Galaxy, Big Secret, and something else in it, I think. So yeah, that's beer number 3. And then obviously we've got the main event. This one's called X, so 10. And this is a double barrel aged 10th anniversary Imperial Stout. It's at 12.4%, so pretty big. And I haven't had an Impy Stout for ages, and I've been craving one. So I'm really looking forward to this. But yeah, obviously I'm having a couple of other beers first. Um, they're really good with their dark beers, like probably top tier in the country, especially barrel aged stuff. I've always found Hawkers and Boat Rocker in Melbourne are probably like top tier. There's probably a couple of others you could say, but some of the really, really hyped breweries like Mountain Culture and Range and that they do good stouts, but they're still not at this level. These guys do. I'm trying to find info about the barrel. It's a bit hard to read, so I might just get into it later. I might look it up on Untapped and see a bit more info about it. But yeah, I don't think it's adjuncts. I'm pretty sure it's just like a big, rich stout with like 2 different barrels. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I better read some comments. Good to see some people in the chat. It's always awkward sort of going live at this time. But yeah, obviously, especially because I'm on holidays, it doesn't really worry me when I do streams at the moment. Here we go. I've got the blowflies hanging around again. So we've got Adam. Good to see you, mate. Craig. Good to see you. Big sesh last night. Cheers, Jagman. Cool. Look forward to hearing about it. Cheers, Lee. Good to see you, mate. Another Liverpudlian. Yeah, you can just tell with the time, like it obviously suits the UK community. Oh, and then we have a Canadian. How you going, Susie? Good to see you, mate. So yeah, let's get into the first of 4 beers. I'm looking forward to it because yeah, I've done like a bit of cooking today, a bit of cleaning, like had a fair bit of sleep. Because yeah, that stream yesterday went for fucking ages. It's a good time though, plenty of laughs. Um, yeah, and I've just been getting organised for Melbourne. I'm going to Melbourne a couple of times in the next 2 weeks, so I've been like booking accommodation and organising where I want to go, and yeah, it's going to be good. So yeah, I obviously haven't had a beer all day. I've just been drinking water because it's been quite warm as well. So yeah, we'll start off with the XBA. I'm going sort of light ABV to high. So yeah, this one was 4.6. I feel like this will be a nice like crusher beer. It'll have a bit of bitterness to it. It says on the back lineup of Columbus, Centennial, Enigma, and Mosaic. And I've got the proper glassware too. Pretty cool little glass, this one. Just got the Hawkers there. And I think I got this in like a pack with stouts. But yeah, hopefully everyone had a good weekend. It went too quick. Ooh, for a light bodied like low ABV beer, this looks really good. It's got like a fair bit of body to it, real tight knit head. Looks awesome. So yeah, reasonably clean and clear. Colour, I would say it's sort of in between like orange and straw. You can see through it fairly well. It's got a bit of like chill haze, but you can tell it's like American style or West Coast. I would say yeah, it's about like a probably 4 finger head. As I said, very tight knit, frothy, white. Carbonation's very active. The glass is a little bit dirty down the bottom and it's all sticking. Let's go a whiff. Oh, as far as body goes, yeah, I'd say it's like it almost looks medium to full, but pretty sure it'd be medium. Ooh. Yeah, no worries, Susie. Cheers for the support, mate. Yeah, you were too. Yeah, you were the first of many. At one stage we were trying to think of all the people that had been on. and I was going through in my head all the US people, and then I could only think of a couple of like English people because it was mostly US. And then I'm like, who the fuck was on with me at the start? And I just couldn't think for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, it was fucking Jagman. He was the first person because it was. I knew that I was hanging out with someone in the early days. It's just because it went for so long. My memory was pretty fucked. And then yeah, Josh. I remember Josh popped up when we were going. But yeah, this smells very good. We're off to a good start. So it's got a very strong, like citrusy stone fruit character. That huge, like marmalade thing, like sticky. So yeah, you'd say like orange, grapefruit, apricot. I'm definitely not getting any tropical notes. Like maybe even like mandarin. Sort of, it's got that real sweet citrusy bite to it. And then yeah, you're getting like some pine and like sort of dried grass. I would say it's probably a mixture with the malts. I'm getting like caramel, but I'm also getting bread and biscuit. It's got heaps going on. The awesome thing is because I've been like it's late at night, my palate wouldn't be as good as what it would be earlier in the day. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Let's see how it goes. Cheers. First of all. Whew. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably in all honesty, that's probably one of the better beers I've had that's under 5%. That's absolutely brilliant. It's just right down my alley. Yeah, it's quite bitter, but it's like got sweetness to it as well. Real punchy flavour. For a Westie, it's got like a real creamy mouthfeel. You definitely love this beer, Craig, being a Westie boy like me. It's so good. I didn't expect it to be like such a banger. Like it's just like a basic XBA. One XBA in Australia that's very well known here and always does well in the awards is Bolters XBA. That's the company that was started up by a bunch of Aussie surfers. And yeah, this is like that, but better. Got some more comments. Yeah. This would probably be one for you too, dude. Being like your sort of lighter beers. It's got plenty of flavour for a 4.5. Yeah, definitely. Cheers, buddy. Good to see you. It's good seeing Dutch Thomas last night on the stream. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Maybe the because I do remember when Hawkers first come on the scene. I remember they had a beer similar to this. It was probably this, but it was just so long ago. I just remember them being fucking amazing. And I was at a Geelong Beer Festival and I was hanging out with their team and that. And then I ended up, me and my best mate, we ended up voting these guys as best beer and best brewery for the festival. And it ended up winning. So it was probably this same beer. I just remember it being like a pale ale. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame about the gorilla. At least it's still going though. Could be worse. I'll go a little bit more. Yeah. A good, like, good too, if at least if Three Hills beers are decent and they're still going to have guest taps. Like, hopefully, if it works out like Fox Friday here in Melbourne, they're from Tasmania. They bought my favourite bar, but they didn't change it at all. Even their own beers, they like, as far as the taps go, there's 20 taps, and they will only have their own beers on about two taps, and the rest of the taps are all the stuff that they normally would have had beforehand. And then you'll go through the fridges and you'll see some of their beers in like probably the more prominent spots, but then they still have everything else that they used to have. So you wouldn't even know it's a like a Fox Friday owned bar. They've done really well with it, and like this, all the staff. They've got a couple of different staff there, but you've still got the same guy that used to own the bar. He's sort of like the manager now, and then like another guy, yeah, sort of probably is the second in charge, and then yeah, most of the younger staff are the same. Like it's yeah, it's cool. So it could even be like that. You'll go in there and you won't really notice much difference. The only thing though is, yeah, if they're going to change all the branding and that, it's like they'll probably have like, I don't know, it'll probably look different inside and different clothing on the staff and like a logo and all that shit, glassware. But oh god, this beer's good. Absolute beautiful beer to start on. Yeah, that'll be a shame if their hop forward stuff's not that great. It's a brewery I sort of, yeah, I've never tried, so I've got no idea. I've heard you talking about them. And that I don't know if I said anything to you yesterday, Craig. I can't remember, but these hills, that festival you and Jake went to, one of our up and coming hype breweries is there this year, Future Brewing. So I thought I'd better let you know because you might see some Future Brewing collabs. They have worked before with I know they've done a collab with Track, and I think they've done one already with Beak. But yeah, they were one of those breweries. They started up, and all of a sudden they were doing all these collabs with these huge bangers. So they've obviously got some sort of contact somewhere. They're like based in Sydney somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that comment that I said originally. That is one of the best beers I've ever had. That's under 5%. Very, very impressed by that. Just like a perfect, like West Coast American style, like pale ale. It's just like so punchy with like flavour and bitterness for like a lighter beer. Maybe because it's their birthday celebration, they might have just went full hog with like ingredients and thought, well, fuck it, we've turned 10, we're just going to put a heap of money into these beers and don't give a fuck if we make profit or not. Because that can often be the case. So, yeah, I'll go to the next one. But yeah, I'll have to let some friends know to get that beer if they haven't got it already. So yeah, as I said before, one of their flagship beers is their West Coast. So this is called Half West Coast IPA, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably going to be pretty similar to the last beer I had. So the hops on this one doesn't actually say. Anyway, we'll get stuck in. I got a waft of aroma as soon as I open the can. It looks lighter in colour, so you can tell there's sort of a less malt backbone. Yeah, it's not as carbonated either. Still has that good tight knit white head on it. It probably is the same in colour, maybe. It does have more of an orange tinge, so I take that back. But yeah, no way near as like zingy with carbonation. Um, Same sort of clarity. I would say this one's probably a 2 to 3 finger head. And yeah, I reckon the body, I'd still say medium, but it's sort of like low end medium. Let's go a whiff. Definitely not as punchy on the nose. I'm getting more pine in this one though. Not as much citrus. There's like a dank note too. I love doing these side by side reviews. It's cool. You just got to be prepared to talk a lot and also, yeah, like get a little bit of a buzz. And also try not to get too carried away with like random chit chat. I mean, I still talk to the chat and that, but you don't want the review to go on for like 2 hours. Yeah, I remember when you and Jake went the first time. It was Range and Wildflower. See, I am getting similar notes in this, but it's leaning more towards like your piney, grassy, floral. There's still citrus and stone fruit, but it's just not as like juicy. And yeah, there's like a touch of dankness. It's almost like this is more of a like slightly sort of greener edge beer. Anyway, I'm going in. Cheers, boys and girls. Malt backbone's definitely lighter. There is that caramel sort of toffee appearance to it. Not getting that as much on the flavour. I feel like I'm getting mostly like white bread. Maybe slightly grainy as well. When you get that slight grainy and white bread sort of quality, yeah, as I've said, like it reminds you of like, yeah, multi-grain bread. It's definitely like piney, woodsy, floral. As far as citrus goes, yeah, it's just not as sweet. It's sort of, I'd say like grapefruit and orange. That last one had this real like sort of sweet mandarin, like tangerine sort of thing. And yeah, definitely more sort of that like strong apricot flavour on the other one. This one you might even get a touch of like peach. Certainly not as bitter either. I feel like the IBUs in the last beer would have been a lot bigger than this. But yeah, it's like it's really tasty, but it's you can tell it's dialed down. Um, yeah, if you were trying to sort of if someone was just starting to get into like bitter beers, this would probably be a good sort of gateway beer because yeah, it's not like right up in your face. I mean, that last beer I had, even though it's only an XBA, it's pretty intense with like bitterness and yeah, like hop flavour. Pardon me. How rude. So yeah, it's good to start off four beers. Two of them are West Coast leaning. I like it. And yeah, I messaged Adam before. I heard that like yeah, Peter from Master of Hoppets has always been one of my like favorite and original sort of beer channels. He has just announced on his channel that because a lot of people have been asking how to get his beers, they only had them available in Scandinavia through the web shop. Or like if they did like festivals and that, they might have a couple go out into like the public in the UK or whatever, Europe. But yeah, he's just announced a beer dome and now taken on their brewery for some stock. So yeah, I messaged Adam wondering if like they could get their beers in England because I know that the boys have talked about beer dome before. But yeah, since all the Brexit stuff, apparently it's a no go. So I was like devastated because yeah, I really, really want to try his beers. Just like yeah, it'd be so cool being able to review like a mate's beers that you've seen him sort of start brewing and go all the way up, and now he's like head brewer for a pretty good brewery. I'll get to try him eventually. But yeah, he had like I had a look on the web shop. He had I think three hazies, two West Coasts, a black IPA. I think he had a couple of lagers and maybe a sour as well. There was a good selection. So yeah, I've always wanted to try his beers and Harry's beers. Um, yeah, obviously beer man, even though he's not like a professional brewer, I just feel like he knows what he's doing and his beers would be pretty good. I might have to have a little intermission after this beer. I need to go to the loo. So yeah, as I said, similar beer to the first one, but just dialed down. So yeah, they're at like their normal West Coast IPA is always good, solid, and this is just like a lighter version of that. Cheers, Stewie. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly go to the loo because I'm busting and like I'm like halfway through the review, so I'll be back shortly. Apologies, guys. I didn't want to have an accident on a live. So yeah, I'll just finish up this one and go on to the third. Yeah, you know how times you sort of, I don't know, you just started having cracking a beer, and then all of a sudden you just get that, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go to the toilet straight away. Breaking the seal. Cheers, Shuey. So yeah, the more I'm drinking this, I'm probably thinking the apricot's the most prominent out the fruit. But yeah, certainly not as good as that first beer. I wouldn't be surprised if this is probably brewed as a trial and they'd see like what people thought of it and then yeah, maybe release it as like a core beer. Because yeah, I feel like that's what it would be for to sort of that gateway beer to get people into bitters. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. So it'd be interesting to see how this one goes, being a hazy. I probably should have given my glass a bit of a washout, but oh well. So yeah, this was 6.5. I love that can artwork. Yeah. One thing I always love with Hawkers too, how they have that gauge of like hops, malt, and yeast. So let's get into it. Yeah, he's got about the same length hair I had about a year ago. Looks lighter though. Looks like he's got long blonde hair. I can't wait for my hair to grow back. Sort of like at that awkward medium length now where it's a pain in the ass trying to do anything. Let's go a little more than that. So one thing I'm already noticing with this beer, it's a hazy, but it doesn't look very hazy. So as I said with Hawkers, with their hazies at times, they can be a bit hit and miss. I mean, it's cloudier than the other two, but it still looks like pretty light and you can almost see through it. So yeah, I'm gonna say like a dull, like a light orange in colour, about a 3 finger head. Carbonation's probably in the middle of the two beers I had. The last one had hardly any. The first one had heaps. So sort of yeah, mild. But yeah, the haziness is a little disappointing, just on appearance. But yeah, it could be completely different on aroma and taste. You never know. So yeah, I'd say probably a similar body to the last one, like low end medium. Let's go with. And yeah, I think this was the one that was all Aussie hops. Yep. It's not very punchy on the nose. It's funny because like out of the three beers to start off, I mean, I was the main beer is obviously the stout. That's the one I'm looking forward to. But that XPA was so fucking good. It's probably going to make these next two beers seem quite average. Like they're still decent, but yeah, that first beer was just banging for what it was. So yeah, on this one, it's just very like subdued with aroma. Like I'm finding it hard to even sort of pick out anything. I'm getting maybe like like a passion fruit and orange. But yeah, just very, very subtle. I would say a white bready base, and you sort of get that impression it's got like oats and wheat. I mean, most hazies do. But yeah, I'm not getting like any sort of, just nothing's really standing out. It might be completely different on the flavour, but let's soon see. I don't get much on the nose, so cheers, guys. There's some grapefruit there. It's like quite delicate. It's like soft, delicate, sort of hazy. Probably more of like an approachable. Maybe that's what they're going for, especially being a collab beer. It's like real soft and pillowy. Yeah, I'd say like orange, grapefruit, and passion fruit. But yeah, nothing's like really standing out. Sort of like just all in the background. There's a little touch of bitterness there, but like pretty light, about what you'd expect for a hazy. But yeah, like nothing's like even in the same ballpark as that first beer. That like blew my mind straight away. It's all about those old school sea hops. I mean, this is a sort of beer, if you gave this to, I don't know, like a young fella that's just getting into craft beer and liking hazies, they'd probably go, oh, yeah, this beer's unreal. But just someone with an advanced palate like me that's drank so many different beers, I just find it like it's like somewhat lackluster. It's just not like nothing's really grabbing me. Like it's drinkable. It's like okay. Like it's there's certainly no like off-putting flavors or anything, but there's just nothing that really stands out. Be interesting to see what other people have like thought. But yeah, I'm glad I got onto these sort of early because yeah, they were only. I think their 10th anniversary celebration was the weekend just gone, so I'm sort of drinking them at a time where people will be like buying them, thinking, "Oh, I wonder what they're going to be like." Yeah, I do like that can artwork though. As I said, it's very Melbourne Stormy. I wonder if there's any sort of yeah, like if they're Storm fans or anything like that, because even like the color scheme. Yeah, I was going to say, is anyone out there having a drink, but not at this time of day. Unless you're Australian or a Kiwi, or you're up in Asia somewhere, or Russia. Shout out to my vodka friends. How good would it be going to Russia and drinking vodka for like $1 a pop? One thing that's funny here with our alcohol tax being so fucking bad, it's reached top three in the world now. The only one that's higher than us was Iceland, and everyone's complaining now. They should have been complaining years ago. So the government are like, okay, we're going to put a stop now on alcohol tax increases for the next 2 years. And all the breweries are like, it's too fucking late. You needed to do it years ago. If we're already fucking the second highest in the world, it's like, yeah, in 2 years' time, we're still going to be way above most other countries. Yeah, true. It is after lunch, but most people would be at work. Hang on, I think I've missed some comments. Okay, this is where I'm up to. Yeah, it's these fucking blowflies. They're massive. And yeah, when I stream, because of the ring light, they hang around the ring light, which is directly above the camera. So you'll just see them flying in front of the camera all the time. They look like birds. Yeah. Need to finish this off and get on to the main event. I can't wait to drink this stout. I've been looking forward to it for a while. Yeah, I can't even remember the last stout I had. It's been quite a while. I might have shared one with my mate a couple of weekends ago, but apart from that, I can't really remember the last one I had on the channel or anything. I do have some there, like I've got some absolute bangers there, but yeah, some of them are in big bottles, so it's sort of like I feel like I want to share them or just save them for like a special event. You don't really want to just be busting out a big, I don't know, 750 ml banger of some huge barrel stout on like a random weeknight. So I'll go a little more of this one. But yeah, like tasty, but just very subdued. And that's how I sort of felt with that second beer too. Completely different styles, but yeah, just for what they are, it's like they're more sort of intro level. I think when it comes to birthday beers, yeah, it's good if you're sort of really going out with a bang. I mean, I guess that first beer was really good. So if this stout sort of lives up to the hype, well then two of the beers are pretty decent. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Stout time, boys and girls. So yeah, I didn't even know this stout was called X until I looked it up. Because yeah, it's just like a red stripe across the can with that on it. It doesn't really look like it's the name of the beer. I just assumed that was like some sort of artwork. I was just looking at it thinking, like, what's the name of it? That must be the name. But yeah, it's just simply called X. Double barrel aged 10th anniversary Imperial Stout at 12.4%. It's that big of a beer. It's 4.3 standard drinks just in the one can. So you certainly wouldn't want to be driving a car after drinking that. And you're on the hops, malt, yeast scale. 2 out of 5 for hops, 5 out of 5 for malt, and 2 out of 5 for yeast. So she's going to be a big, rich, dark, boozy boy. It's hard to see the label on this one. I just seen someone had tagged something on my Facebook profile, and I'm like, oh fuck. It's always a worry with stuff like that, but it was something decent, so it's all good. Let's get into it. Yeah, that's what a few people have said in the when I read Untapped about this beer. Heaps of people were talking about Twitter and all that shit. Here we go. God, it just feels like so long since I've had a dark beer. I can already smell dark fruit. It's like not even close to my nose. It looks very, very nice. Cheers, Disco. Good to see you, brother. I'll be having that range disco beer soon, so I thought I was gonna what I was gonna do, I was gonna try and do it around a time where either it's just before or after your show so you can watch it. So yeah, I'll let you know. But yeah, if I do it, I'll probably like put it up in advance so you know. So I would say in this one, it's probably not quite jet black. It's probably got like a dark chocolatey, like dark tan sort of tinge to it. Slightly tan head. The head is very tight knit, like lacing on the glass. Body, I'd still say medium. Carbonation's probably mild. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Pretty keen for it. As I said, this one's 12.4%. And yeah, it's some sort of like double barrel. Doesn't really go into detail on the back. So I don't know if Adam, you're still there. If you could do your magic where you look up more info about the beer. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm keen for it. Let's have a whiff. Oh, yes. It's got like almost like Russian Imperial vibes. Very rich, very roasty. So dark fruits definitely stand out, but I'm also getting like some roast coffee. I would say like dark chocolate, and there's like a molasses sort of thing going on. Maybe slightly toasty, like brown bread. Even like I'm getting like a slight sort of like aniseedy, like licoricey note. Oh, it smells really complex. It's good. It's even got a like a woody sort of spice note to it. As far as the barrel goes, I mean, yeah, woody, spicy. Some of those notes would already be barrel related, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really getting any bourbon. I'm not sure exactly what the barrels were. Normally, these guys use sort of, I would say they're the most prominent's bourbon, but they do use a lot of other barrels as well. With that huge like dark fruit thing, it could even be like a wine barrel or even like a sherry or a port or something like that. I mean, you get dark fruits obviously from malt, but yeah, sometimes barrel as well. Hmm, smells really good. But yeah, I'm pretty confident. Well, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any adjuncts. It was just like a complex like stout with yeah two barrels. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm somewhat excited for this one. Cheers, boys and girls. Looks good in that glass. Oh yeah. Oh, vanilla. Vanilla, yeah, very woodsy. Dark fruit's huge. But yeah, that first taste, I just got like sweet vanilla. And yeah, like bourbon. Picking up like some caramel. It's very tasty. I can confidently say now that yeah, 2 out of the 4 birthday beers are very, very good. Cheers, Bill. Good to see you, brother. Cheers, Sugar Kitty. Hope you're well. No, that was ridiculous. No, this is just like a 4 beer review. One of our local breweries here in Victoria. It's their 10th birthday, so this is their four like 10th anniversary beers. And yeah, this is the fourth of the 4. So yeah, I'll probably be wrapping it up in the next like 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I was knackered after yesterday. Yeah, I had a quick glimpse. It's pretty funny. Bill, when you were having beers, did you have many from North Park? Because I was talking to Beer Man about North Park and Monkish, and yeah, it was just saying how he needs to sort of they're two breweries that he needs to try. I just couldn't remember. We were trying to think if you'd had many from those guys. Well, sort of reeling off a heap of breweries that you'd had heaps of, and then yeah, we were just trying to think with those two. Delightful mouthfeel. It's like sort of silky smooth. But yeah, that vanilla note's really, really like prominent. Like, and yeah, I'm not, as I said, I wasn't sure about whether they've added adjuncts, but yeah, it's just like huge vanilla. You do get vanilla from like barrels quite often. The caramels come out more in the flavour, more so than the palate. But yeah, caramel's another sort of huge feature of like a bourbon barrel. Obviously, also caramel's huge from malt. Yeah, this is a good beer because it's like quite warm. I've sort of been fine, but now that I've had like four nice beers, just sort of yeah, sitting here under a light and that, I'm starting to get like a bit hot. You can tell this one's got a bit of booze to it. Cheers, Bulk. Haven't seen you for a while, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, I've got a mate that's exactly the same, Disco. Like we'll go to like events together, and quite often his wife will be drinking with us, and we'll do all these like big sours or stouts or whatever, and like me and his wife will pick out vanilla straight away, and he just never gets it at all. It's sort of weird how that works. But yeah, it's like I didn't get it at all on the nose, but on flavour, I was like, bang! It's one of the first things I got. And yeah, it's just like in your face now, like every sip. I love it. Yeah, it's like vanilla, woodsy, dark fruit, bourbon. It's bourbon or whiskey. Pretty sure maybe bourbon. I wouldn't be surprised though, because they're talking about it being two different barrels. So I'm not sure if it's two different bourbon barrels or maybe there's like a wine barrel involved or port or sherry or something like that. Because of the real fruitiness, it's almost like you're getting sort of like a dark fruit, even like a red grape sort of thing. It is good that I don't really know, so it's sort of keeping me on my toes. Um, yeah, coffee. Coffee's probably not as prominent on the taste as it was on the nose. Dark chocolate still is. You're getting like dark chocolate, caramel. Um, yeah, it's like quite rich as well. And yeah, there's a little bit of sort of like a brown bready thing, but yeah, it's way more roasty than toasty. It's almost yeah, as I said on the smell, it's almost like a Russian imperial stout that's like barrel aged. it's got sweetness from like the barrel that sort of like makes it well balanced. The sweetness cuts through the roast. It's very, very nice. I'm quite impressed. It's good that with the 4 beers, it started on a high, then it's a bit of a lull, and then finishes on a high again. I mean, I was pretty confident this one was always going to be good. Yeah, with this one, sort of like oak barrel. Um, but yeah, there are times when if I'm drinking a West Coast IPA, when I describe woodsy, it can more refer to like cedar and stuff like that. Yeah, whenever there's sort of notes like that, if you're a bit unsure, I'm always happy to sort of elaborate more on it. But yeah, in this case, it's like because it's a barrel aged beer, so it's like you're getting like that oaky quality from the barrel. But yeah, there's other times where you'll have specific hops, especially some of the new school hops. They've got sort of like a woodsy, like foresty sort of note to them. Yeah, no, that's just what's pretty much written on the back of the can. It doesn't really tell you much. Yeah. Yeah, I probably use the terminology woodsy too often, but like yeah, when it comes to different styles, it's like yeah, I think when I describe woodsy in a stout, it's more like the barrel itself. And then yeah, if it's in a like a hop forward beer, it's more about the sort of like forest floor, or even like sort of like that piney edge, or like cedar or sandalwood or any of those sort of things. I was thinking taking a stroll in Home Depot. Oh, there you go. So there's a bit more detail about it. Still not sure what barrels it is, but some of those notes are bang on with what I'm sort of saying. So I'm happy with that. It's good. Yeah. As it's warming, definitely getting a bit more of the booze. I just wish I knew what barrels it was. Now that we've sort of, like had a smell, had a taste, just sort of sitting on it, letting it warm. I know it's like an enjoyable beer. Sort of said what I think about it. It'd be good just to know exactly more about it. Yeah. I just like the fact that when it came to that, whatever that part was that Stewie mentioned before, it said something about vanilla spice. Was it? I think it might have said dried fruit, and yeah, something else. It was like, yeah, it was all the shit I was sort of getting. Yeah, like I'm fairly confident it's like a sweet bourbon. Just as it's warming, you're just getting that that booze, that caramel, that sort of like spice note. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a fucking good beer, and I'm quite impressed by it. Um, I think out of the four go, because you could buy them as a 4 pack, and it ended up being a fair bit cheaper instead of buying them individually. I would say still go for the mixed 4 pack. I think those middle two, although they weren't nowhere near as good as the first and the last beer, I think they're worth trying because like different people, different palates. I think there's probably a fair few people out there that would enjoy the hazy more than I did. Um, as far as the half West Coast goes, because I'm a hophead and I love full on in your face West Coast, that's probably the only reason why I didn't think as much of it because it was like a dialed down version. But yeah, to people out there that are more haze people and they don't mind something that's a little bit bitter. I mean, yeah, it's still a decent beer. But yeah, the first beer and the last beer are phenomenal. And I would definitely, especially the first one, like in all honesty, if I see this in a shop in like a 4 or a 6 pack, I reckon I'm going to buy some. Hopefully, it's something that's going to be out for a while. Yeah, where are we up to? Yeah, don't know if it's going to tell you. Cheers, Ken. Good to see you, brother. Yep. Yeah, it's got that real spice note, doesn't it? How is life in the munted pub? Yeah. There's just sometimes there's particular things and you're not quite sure of, and but yeah, I feel like most of the notes I've been pretty accurate with. It's just that unknown of what sort of barrels it is. Because it's 2 barrels, you sort of get that impression that yeah, it might be like yeah, 1 barrel. It might be like 2 bourbon barrels, but one might be like a 10-year-old one. And but yeah, I just got a lot of dark fruit out of it, so I was thinking it could be even like a some sort of wine barrel. But yeah, then as it warmed, it was like I got more of a bourbon character. Good to see you, Ken. We definitely need to organise some sort of sesh, dude. Definitely more Westies these days, dude. Um, I get huge palate fatigue from hazies. I mean, you'll get real good quality shit. Like I had that Troon one yesterday. Troon are like one of the most sought after. I'll grab the can. Yeah, these guys are one of the most sought after breweries at the moment. Probably one of the hardest beers to get your hands on. It's like black market values, like phenomenal. And yeah, I had this. I didn't want to get too caught up in the hype of it. But yeah, it lived up to it. I gave it a 4.9 out of 5. Like, absolutely phenomenal beer. So if you have something like that that's a hazy, it's like I really enjoy them. And it's not like a task to drink it. But yeah, there's just so many hazies out there that aren't that great. And it's like saturating the market. So yeah, it's like I've sort of gone back full circle and started drinking more like West Coast IPAs and lagers and that sort of shit. So it's like I still enjoy hazies, but it's almost like they have to be really fucking good for me to I don't know like really get that satisfaction out of them these days. They just all start tasting very samey. Yeah, I'll have to do some more stout reviews in the coming weeks. I've missed the dark beers. It's funny, like dark beers, like imperial stouts, especially barrel aged. It's always been my favourite style. But yeah, I think I mean, it's summertime here, so there's not as many of them around. They're more expensive. They're obviously not as sessionable and that. So yeah, you just don't see as many of them on the channel, especially this time of the year. But yeah, I've got quite a few in the cellar, so I might do another big impy stout, like a barrel aged thing, in the next few days, just to mix it up. But yeah, at least with my channel, you get different styles. There's some beer reviewers out there, all they drink is hazy IPAs, and it's like you need to mix it up. Yeah, went for fucking ages. I was very tired today. I was drinking so many different things too. Like I started off with that Troon beer. That was the first beer I had of the day. I did a review, drank that on a fresh palate, absolutely loved it. And then I got stuck into the VBs. VB is sort of like my go-to macro beer. Drank a heap of them, and then every now and then I was going to sort of a couple of crafties, and then back to VB, vice versa. And then I cracked a bottle of wine. I was drinking wine towards the end of the night. But yeah, I think the stream went for it's like 13 or 14 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. But the good thing was is I didn't play any music or we didn't really discuss anything that I sort of thought, oh, I don't really want that on air. So at least with that stream, I could leave it up. And because, yeah, there's been some stuff lately, like, yeah, we've like played like music and had copyright issues or like been talking about particular things. It's like, oh, you don't really want that to stay in a public forum sort of thing. Just got to be careful at times. Yeah, for sure. It should be a good beer, and it's got like it's still relatively fresh too. But I just thought I wanted when I did it, I wanted you to sort of see it, like sort of a little dedication to your disco. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm still thinking it's bourbon barrel, Stewie, but I just feel like there's something else that's a bit different there. The fact that it says double barrel, that's what's sort of the thing that's fucking with my head. But yeah, at least we know that particular wood's involved. Back to it. Geez, it's good. Yeah, I really miss a good barrel aged stout. As I said, it's been a while. And yeah, I would have these guys definitely up there in the upper echelon of Aussie Imperial Stouts. I feel like, say, if I was to name maybe five, I would go with Boat Rocker, who are from Melbourne. I would go for Hawkers from Melbourne. Um, hmm. Now I'm like, fuck, who else? When Mountain Culture do them good, they don't do enough of it. They haven't done enough barrel aged stuff, but when they do them good, they're definitely in that higher bracket. I still think Range aren't quite there. I still think One Drop aren't quite there. I've had Rocky Ridge Stouts. They're based over in the WA where Kenny's. Yeah, some of their empty stouts are good, but they're just not quite at that same level. Oh, shit, who else is there? Maybe I can just call it at Boat Rocker and Hawkers being the top two. There'll be someone else I'll think of later. I mean, I've obviously had plenty of good barrel aged beers from America and stuff. But geez, Vanessa. I was looking at your name and I seen Sugar Kitty, and then I'm like, oh, this is Vanessa. This is someone different. Good to see you, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm on holidays, Ken. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And yeah, there's a couple of you guys that are regular or mates or whatever in the chat that don't have a mod. I'll have to sort that out too. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, well, no wonder it's sort of, yeah, a little bit confusing. That's cool, though. Any idea what it was, Disco? That's pretty cool. I mean, I might be going to that brewery in a few days' time, the Melbourne one. So if it's like a beer, I don't mind, like one of their, I don't know, like, yeah, you'll have to get back to me as to what it is. That's cool. You're getting a beer of theirs over there. Because yeah, they're originally from Bustleton area, which is like south of Perth. One of the better breweries from the west side of the country. And yeah, I think they've now got two venues over there, but they've opened up one in Melbourne now as well. They're doing really well. Um, there's another brewery over there called Found that are starting to, yeah, sort of get a bit of hype to them. They're from somewhere sort of south of Perth as well, but it's inland. Yeah, anyway, I think they've got a bar in like Subi or somewhere now, and I messaged them because I want to try their beers, but you can't buy their beers through their web shop. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, no worries, I'll get back to you. We'll work out somewhere where you can sort of get some shipped to you in Victoria." And then yeah, I just sort of never heard back. I thought just being the weekend, they probably got busy and got sidetracked and then forgot about it. It's exactly what I thought. I'm like, what's going on here? And then there's another kitty I'm friends with that's in the art, like the art sort of community. She's friends with like Angie and a few of those. Except she spells hers like with an I at the end. Yeah. Yeah. When you said that, I sort of got excited, but I thought, oh, it might not be right. That's a shame. Yeah, it's good with cats how you get a bit more life out of them than dogs. What's the average age of a like a cat? Would it be 20 or sort of late teens? Yeah, 26. Jesus, that's insane. They're living a good life. 18 to 20. Yeah, thought it was about that. Hmm. Anyway, I'm going to pour a little more, shall I? Then I better wrap this up. It's always hard when it's like a multi-beer review like this, because obviously it goes on for a bit of time, and yeah, you just don't want to get too carried away, and it turns into sort of more of a hangout, and then yeah, because you do want people to sort of watch it back and get an idea for what the beers are like. But yeah, I love the interaction with people and just the banter and the chit chat. So can't have it all. But yeah, normally with these multi beer streams, I don't rate them. I just talk about each of them as I go, like I have. And then I normally pick out like a favorite or a couple of favorites or what one was shit. But yeah, in this case, none of them are bad. I just felt the middle two were just, yeah, they're sort of more suited to like a basic sort of or a common palate. Someone maybe just getting into craft beer. Whereas this bad boy, this original XPA, as I said, very big call, but probably one of the best beers I've ever had that's under 5%. So, yeah, anyone watching this, that can get their hands on this, I would highly recommend it. Absolutely stonking. Yeah, just brilliant West Coast pale. I just can't give it enough like credit. It just blew my mind. Well impressed. And yeah, just the notes on that one, very citrusy, stone fruit. You got like sort of like sweet citrus, like orange, mandarin, like the actual juice. Maybe a touch of like grapefruit like pith, like peel. You had sort of apricot. It's sort of like that jammy, marmalade sort of quality. But you also got like piney, grassy notes as well. And yeah, just had like a really nice body to it. Good hit of bitterness, just for the percentage. It was absolutely punchy, and yeah, I can't big it up enough. But yeah, they were the other two, the half West Coast IPA, and then the hazy IPA, the collab with the local record label. Yeah, just like entry level sort of beers, and then finishing on this. This is banging, this beer. So yeah, X. And yeah, as I said, double barrel aged, 10th anniversary Imperial Stout, 12.4%. You're getting all the roasty notes. You're getting some like toasty brown bread. Yeah, like whatever that wood barrel is, phenomenal. You're getting some bourbon. Yeah, huge vanilla note, some spice. Yeah, I even got like a touch of like licorice, molasses. Yeah, it's very rich, very roasty, and yeah, real sort of like smooth, velvety body. So yeah, if you're into a barrel aged stout, certainly can't fault it. So I would probably say, I mean, if you're going to pick one of the four beers, you can only have one of them. You're going to pick the stout, but for what the XPA is, I would give both of them sort of I would have them both on the perch together, because I just think for what this beer is, it's fucking immaculate. Like, and as I said, I'm that impressed by it. I want to seek some more. Like, I want to go get a 4-pack or a 6-pack, because there it's just like it'd be a perfect beer to sort of start a sesh off with. Couple of these out in the sun, going to a barbecue, like yeah, phenomenal. Pardon me. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that name getting around lately in the UK, even in America, like an Aussie pale. For a while there, it was a New Zealand pale or a New Zealand lager or a New Zealand IPA. But yeah, you're getting like Aussie pale or Aussie IPA. So it's generally like Aussie grains, and then yeah, like obviously Galaxy, Vic Secret, Eclipse, Enigma, Hour, one of the sort of 6 or 7 Aussie hops. Yeah. Our hop scene's getting a bit better now. Like, it was definitely affected there for a few years because of the bushfires. Had a lot of hate for like, you get a lot of Americans saying, "Oh, Galaxy doesn't taste like it used to," and that. But yeah, we had bushfires that wiped out the whole fucking hop farm. So what do you expect? But yeah, one thing I did have a lot of appreciation for, Wildflower Brewery, who they do like wild ferment, open ferment, like sour, yeah, all those sort of like fancy ales. They went and bought a lot of the bushfire affected grapes, like from wineries, and yeah, they made like some wild beers that had like smoky grapes in them, and yeah, fucking phenomenal. If anyone out there likes sour beer, or even if you're a wine drinker, yeah, try some of their smoky stuff. It's yeah, awesome. Like I had huge respect for them for doing that. Like they really sort of took a massive risk. I mean, obviously they were getting these grapes for a lot cheaper than what you'd normally pay for them, but just to take that plunge and yeah, I really hope you can still get that sort of stuff. Someone's on the beers, yeah, boy. So where he is going, Adam? That'd be cool. But yeah, I better wrap this up shortly. Geez, I've been going for a while. And an hour and a half review. It is 4 beers though. So. Normally I'd do a cuvee, but 4 completely different beers. I don't think I will. I'll just enjoy the remnants of the beers off camera. I mean, yeah, if someone was doing sort of a panel or whatever, I might join, but at this time of the night, I'd highly think not. It's good being on holidays, but yeah, there'll be some more reviews tomorrow and probably at an earlier time as well. I might even do like sort of an earlier review in the day and then one around this time again. I want to do another US beer. I've got a monkish there. I've got some more Brewhouse. Um, yeah, I'm meant to be doing a Brewhouse review with Beer Man, and then we might even be including Josh from Last Beer and Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. Just depends if we can sort of get everyone together. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it was so unreal having these like I don't know, it was like a combination of like a Gers, so like a Belgian lambic Gers, a like a nice like Sauv Blanc, and then you got that like smokiness from a not really a Rausch beer, more of like a sort of like a subtle I don't know, sort of like a subtle peated whiskey sort of thing. Just a combination of all those three sort of coming together. It's cool. Cool. That's awesome. Tell him you want to take a really, really good beer of his back to Australia for a mate. We hadn't really organised any Azvecs, had we? Because I remember saying to you I wanted a beer from Azvecs and a beer from Shore Shop. And then we were trying to think of stuff, but I can't remember if we had any from those two. So yeah, Adam's based in Liverpool, and out of all my worldwide beer friends, he's probably going to be the one I meet first. He's coming over to Australia in the next few months, and yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to show him around old Melbourne town, check out all the decent breweries and some good food. It's going to be great. Thanks, Disco. Love you, dude. Cheers, Kent. Yeah, as I said, mate, we'll have to organise some sort of sesh. Hang out on yours and drink some fine ales together, brother. Cool. Sounds good. Well, I'm out of here, peeps. So yeah, cheers to Hawkers. Hawker's beer out of Reservoir in Melbourne. Yeah, one of the original, well, not original, but they sort of come on the scene in Aussie craft beer when it sort of just started to take off. And yeah, they were one of my sort of favourites in the early days. I remember Pirate Life and these guys and like Stone and Wood and a few of those. They were the ones that sort of stood out to me in the early days. So yeah, 10th anniversary, good on them. It's good to see some breweries still striving in this shit time because yeah, there's been a lot that have struggled and bit the dust. So yeah, thanks everyone for chiming in, and we will see you again soon. Cheers.